Business was suspended for the 20 minutes break. Debating the motion was PICA Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapyanga, and so we do expect him to continue with his debate once business resumes. I must make mention that this motion has been seconded by Nalolo Member of Parliament, Mr. Imanga Wamnyima. And still to be considered on the floor of the House, we do expect the House to consider the Closed Circuit Television Public Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025 at second reading stage. We also expect two bills to be considered at committee stage. That's the Zambia Institute of Procurement and Supply Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2025, the Cotton Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2025, and thereafter we do expect the Small Claims Court Amendment Bill. Just now we take it to the floor of the House. The quorum has not yet been constituted. It is a requirement that 1/3 of members of Parliament need to be present for business to be transacted on the floor of the House. So once a quorum is constituted, we do expect business of the House to resume. And under consideration at the time business was suspended for a 20 minutes break was a motion that has been moved by Kalomo Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Harry Kamboni, urging that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 151st Interparliamentary Union Assembly and related meetings held in Geneva, Switzerland from 19th to 23rd October 2025 for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 14th November 2025. And PICA Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapyanga, was debating the motion, and so we do expect him to continue with his debate once business resumes, once a quorum is constituted. And this motion has been seconded by Mr. Imanga Wamnyima Nalolo, Member of Parliament. And we expect the House to also consider the Small Claims Court Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2025 at third reading stage, and thereafter we do expect resumption of debate on the motion of supply. That's a motion of 4th November 2025, a motion that was moved by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, that the House now resolves into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026, presented to the National Assembly in September 2025.
Order, honorable members. When business was suspended, the House was considering the motion moved by the honorable member of Kalomo Central that this House adopts the report of the Zambian delegation to the 151st Interparliamentary Union IPU Assembly and the related meetings held in Geneva, Switzerland from 19th to 23rd October 2025 for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 14th November 2025. And the Honorable Member from Pika was debating. May the Honorable Member continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I was still on page 5 on the issue of the situation in Madagascar. Madam Speaker, to all African countries, and to avoid what happened in Madagascar, governments must still listen to the people. They must listen to the cries of the citizens. When the citizens want services such as electricity, such as the lower cost of fuel, lower cost of living, and other essential commodities, those in government must listen and listen to the citizens. This situation, like what happened in Madagascar, will be avoided, Madam Speaker. The youths, the Gen Z in Madagascar took to the streets because basically, Madam Speaker, the power utility company for Antananarivo was not supplying power to the citizens. They technically had what we call here load shedding, and the youths decided to take to the streets. The president fled the country. After the president fled the country, that's when the military took over. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, that should be avoided by listening, must be given better services by its government. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I want to thank you most sincerely again for having led this delegation to this very important assembly. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we have a lot of work on the order paper, so please do not feel that I keep on cutting when you are just about to speak. Honorable Member for Kafue, please bear with me. I don't know, unless if people want to debate for 2 minutes each. We still have 2 committee and 1 second reading, and we don't have time. The Honorable Member for Kafue, 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Indeed, in 2 minutes, I want to support the report and that we do adopt it because very pertinent issues, were discussed. Some of which we are picking from the debate, Member of Parliament, where there was focus on this issue of youth and the importance of youth representation, which basically this week has been my issue, Madam Speaker, talking about these special interest groups. The only challenge or regret is that you can see even from the way the Honorable Member was debating, instead of putting up a strong case for the youth, he was bringing, and I thought, okay, I'm guided, I'll retrieve that. But what I wanted to say was that when we are doing this, let us do these issues, with the seriousness, without bringing in the trivia, because then we are missing an opportunity to have these groups represented in the way we are also playing around with the constitution-making process, which is an opportunity to help us bring in those same youths. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, indeed, I wanted to say that these forums are an important platform, indeed, for international solidarity, for learning best practices, and I would encourage Parliament, to continue prioritizing these, because that is what we need to do as parliamentarians, go out there, learn, and bring lessons. So I regret, Madam Speaker, that the Pan-African Parliament delegation was not able to be represented in the just ended, session that we closed off on Friday last week. And for me, I wouldn't want to buy the issue of limited resources, but I think it's important to Parliament, because the representation at national level and international is very, very important. It gives a good image of the country, and we are also able to defend the country where there is misinformation. For instance, the same issue of Madagascar came up even there where they were trying to talk about the stoning issue in Zambia, and it was our responsibility to defend and put the correct, record that what
Thank
was
you.
being reported in the social media was not actually correct according to what is happening on the ground.
Thank you. Your
I thank
time
you,
is
madam.
up. Thank you. Honorable Member for Chilubi, 2 minutes. Then we go to the Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Though the people of Chilubi prepared for 8 minutes, we'll try to see how we can squeeze. Madam Speaker, I want to address the issue of Madagascar. And the issue of Madagascar, Madam Speaker, is an issue of constitutional order. And before that crisis came in, we had a problem with the constitutional order. And what followed is what we are supposed to address as members of parliament, especially defending the constitution. Having said that, Madam Speaker, since I've just been given 2 minutes, let me try to address the issues concerning humanitarian norms and action. Madam Speaker, I want to bring back to our attention, especially at local level. I know that they were discussing at international level. We are not well seated, Madam Speaker, in this case, especially tackling humanitarian crisis can come through earthquake, it can come through droughts, floods, maybe humanitarian crisis can even be human-driven behavior like coup and military action. Madam Speaker, if you check our Emergency Act and you also compare it with the DMM Act and the articles in Constitution, Article number 30 and number 31, you see that there are gaps and it's not speaking to each other. So, as far as we want to play ball at international level, we really need to address our domestic arrangement in terms of policy and legal framework when it comes to handling humanitarian crisis, especially with some of the old laws like the Emergency Act, which need to be revisited. And you look at how the DMMU Act talks about declaring a crisis, and it doesn't match with the Article 30 and 31. Having been given 2 minutes, Madam Speaker, I think I would end there.
Thank you very much. I wish you had gone further to state how those problems can be addressed, because we want solutions. But anyway, time is not sufficient. The Honorable Minister of Information and Media.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the occasion that on the behalf of your rights, we respond to the many issues that have been raised by your members on the floor of the House as I support the adoption of this particular report. Let me begin, Madam Speaker. First of all, those who are doing the timing, it's not 2 minutes, I'm responding. Madam Speaker, let me begin by indicating that we are, on your right, grateful to you for your able leadership. And that through you, the able leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. That, Madam Speaker, in the last 4 years of the New Dawn administration, parliamentary committees have managed to go about their business right around the world. Madam Speaker, from 2016 to 2021, your committees failed to travel out of the country. And, Madam Speaker, your committees even locally used to travel out, say, for 10 days. It was reduced to 7 days or below. Madam Speaker, the only committees that managed to travel between 2016 and 2021 are very few. Amongst them, the Public Accounts Committee, to which I was a member, which traveled to Uganda and to Canada. That's all. All other committees were told there is no money. Today, Madam Speaker,
All the honorable members, honorable minister, just stick to the report. We don't have much time. Please, honorable members, no points of order. As I indicated, we still have committee, we still have second reading. two bills, one bill for committee stage, two bills for committee stage, one bill for second reading, and we don't have much time. May the Honorable Minister continue without debating the institution.
Madam Speaker, I'm well guided and I must immediately veer off. Let me commend your committee, Madam Speaker, that they did perform a successful tour out of Geneva, for which they have brought this report, and I thank the chairperson for ably moving this motion and the seconder for that reason. Madam Speaker, we have heard on the floor of this House that in terms of page 5, the summary of business that was conducted during the 151st IPU Assembly and related meetings, top on the agenda was the issue of the concern by global parliamentarians on the issue of the military takeover in Madagascar. And we have heard, Madam Speaker, the submission from the Honorable Member of Parliament for Mpika to say it is important for governments to listen, otherwise citizens will take action. And he made reference to electricity. Madam Speaker, I would like to submit on the floor of the House that the Honorable Member of Parliament for Mpika, who is a Member of Parliament elected to this House on the PF ticket, should be the last to talk about electricity and load shedding. Because some of the challenges this government is faced with and grappling with now in terms of this national plaguing issue of load shedding is as a result of their creation when they were in government. Madam Speaker, as we speak today, we cannot talk about load shedding as a trigger point for civil action by citizens. Because today, Madam Speaker, ZESCO has no financial integrity to be able to import power from Mozambique, because it is sitting on a huge debt of 81 million United States dollars. As we speak today, it was more than that as at August 2021. But as we speak today, it is 81 million United States dollars left by these same people to come here and begin to play smart. This country will not move forward if we continue on this trajectory of hypocrisy. What I expect the Minister of the Member of Parliament from Mpika, if he wants to talk about electricity, first is to apologize. To say we left this country in a malaise, in a quagmire, for which President HH and his administration have worked tirelessly. That is what I expect of him, and not talk about Gen Z taking action. In Zambia, Madam Speaker, Gen Z, when you talk about Gen Z, you are talking about the youth. Which youth do you want to take action? When in the last 4 years of President HH's administration, more than 100,000 public jobs have been created and youth employed. Madam Speaker, that is limited just to the public service. When you talk about the private sector, wherein there has been a lot of investment coming into this country as a result of attractive and predictable legal regime, a conducive business environment, more jobs have been created. What Gen Z are you talking about that Gen Z should take action? Gen Z in this country are for Bali. And our colleagues should begin to accept the reality that President HH has delivered. We do have certain issues to deal with, such as electricity, load shedding. And the issue, Madam Speaker, is well known by the public. 60 years of Zambia being a nation, there has been no investment in alternative power generation outside hydro. That is what the problem is. So for all those who are leaders, let us scale up to scale and be able to tell the nation the truth. If the 10 years that PF was in power, they had done what UPND has done in 4 years in terms of opening up the electricity sector to bring in private sector participation in terms of power generation, power trading, we would have been somewhere else today. We wouldn't have been talking about this. But again, Madam Speaker, the problem which we have in this country, like you know, we have politicians wanting to take over government without ideas. What ideas do these people have? Zero. Is just to say, no, we want to take over. We want to take over. They have never addressed the nation what they will do about electricity shortage in this country. Zero. The only thing they are talking about is power, because when they were in power, they were used to corrupt deals. That's all. And that's what they want power for, not to save the people of Zambia. And time has come now for citizens to know who stands for what. Madam Speaker, the MP from Pika has spoken about the IPU, lamenting about dwindling numbers of youth in parliaments around the world. In this country, President Hakainde Hichilema and his administration, which is consequential upon the resolution of this House in 2023 to amend the Constitution, to bring more youth here. Some of these people have begun to become a turncoat upon what they believe in. They go around to tell people, no, we can't amend the Constitution, we can't amend it. But you come to this House to lament dwindling numbers of youth. Stop this hypocrisy. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kalomo Central, winding up debate.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. May I thank the seconder, the first speaker, Member of Parliament from Pika, Parliament for Kafue, and the outstanding Minister of Information, Honorable Cornelius Mweto. I think he has already summarized for me. Thank you very much.
Order, honorable members. To the 151st Interparliamentary Union IPU Assembly and the related meetings held in Geneva, Switzerland from 19th to 23rd October 2025 for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Friday, 14th November 2025. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Closed Circuit Television Public Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025, second reading.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be now read a second time.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, before you give me the privilege to move the motion.
Sorry, I made a mistake. I skipped something. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Any debate? The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With your indulgence, before I present the motion, allow me to share my excitement and pertaining to the happenings which have taken place from yesterday to today. Madam Speaker, I'm happy. I'm a very happy member of Parliament and the minister that the doomsayers, political sadists, political killings have been shamed. They were so excited that the government of the United States of America had abandoned us. Nay, Madam Speaker, the government of the United States of America has come and assured us that you are governing this country properly. We are coming back with 1.5 billion. Very good news. And I can see my colleagues there looking down. And tomorrow, I'm still sharing the good news. And tomorrow, the Premier of China is coming again to visit us with very good news. The Premier of China will come with good news tomorrow because we are doing well on behalf of the people of Zambia. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, let me thank you to present, and Israel also. Let me thank you for the opportunity to present this memorandum on the closed circuit television public protection
Order, honorable members, order. Let's allow the minister to proceed.
On the closed circuit television public protection bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025, following its deferment. The bill was deferred after the Republican president, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, raised concerns relating to 1, invasion of privacy, 2, excessive bureaucracy, 3, unclear costs and fees, 4, transparency, oversight and abuse risks, and 5, scope and overreach. Madam Speaker, we recognize that the concerns raised are legitimate and valuable in ensuring that the final act strikes a balanced alignment between security imperatives and constitutional rights. This is especially since the bill was designed as a forward-thinking legal framework to govern the installation and operation of both fixed and mobile CCTV systems, aiming to strengthen public safety while safeguarding individuals' privacy and data rights. Arising from the concerns raised, we have proposed targeted amendments to ensure that the bill fully complies with the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Act number 2 of 2016, the Data Protection Act number 3 of 2021, and other relevant regional and international standards, including the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection, Malabo Convention of 2014. 2, invasion of privacy, background and existing strength. The House may wish to note that the initial bill already contains several foundational safeguards designed to protect personal privacy and prevent abuse of surveillance powers, as highlighted as follows. 1. Section 23(2) requires all installations in public premises or along public roads to take into account the right to privacy guaranteed under the Constitution and other laws. 2. Section 24 expressly prohibits the installation or operation of CCTV in sensitive areas such as changing rooms, bathrooms, and other places where personal privacy is reasonably expected, except under judicial authorization for investigations. 3. Section 25 limits access and disclosure of CCTV data to authorized officers acting within prescribed circumstances. And 4. Section 26 sets strict limits on data retention, 1 month maximum for non-relevant footage, requires that data viewing take place in a private setting, and forbids the use of CCTV for personal or unauthorized purposes. Collectively, these provisions demonstrate that the bill recognized privacy as a core principle and sought to integrate data protection norms into the surveillance framework. We acknowledge that while these provisions establish a solid baseline, they require further refinement to ensure enforceability, independence, and alignment with the Data Protection Act and constitutional guarantees under Article 17, the right to privacy. 2. Propose strengthening measures. To build upon the bill's existing strengths, the following targeted amendments have been proposed. 1. Judicial oversight. Amend Section 25 to require that access to CCTV data for routine investigations shall be subject to a judicial warrant issued under the Criminal Procedure Code. Emergency access may be granted only in cases involving imminent threats to life or national security. 2. Independent audits. Introduce a new section, 26A, mandating annual privacy and data handling audits to be conducted jointly by the Data Protection Commissioner and the Human Rights Commission, with the summary findings published for public accountability. 3. Data security and retention. Strengthen Section 26 by requiring encryption of all stored data, maintaining of digital access logs, and a maximum of 30 days retention period, extendable only under written approval linked to an ongoing investigation. B. Comply with the Data Protection Commissioner in cases of unauthorized access or data compromise. 4. Public awareness and signage. Require visible signage at CCTV locations indicating the presence of surveillance. These additions do not alter the bill's core objectives, but rather strengthen its legitimacy and constitutional alignment. They also ensure Zambia's compliance with the Malabo Convention, Articles 8 to 13, and international best practices regarding surveillance governance. 3. Excessive bureaucracy. As the President noted, the current approval time frame of 50 days under Section 14 may create unnecessary administrative delays. In that regard, we propose to reduce the decision period to 30 days and introduce a 14-day fast-track process for low-risk installations. These measures not only retain oversight, but align with the government's policy on reducing red tape and supporting the private sector. 4. Unclear costs and fees. The initial bill's use of the term prescribed fees provided flexibility for regulatory adjustment. It should be noted that the fees will be prescribed in the regulations. Transparency, oversight, and abuse risks. The Ministry wishes to assure the House that strong oversight and accountability mechanisms are already in place. Annual audits have been duly provided for, and the institution remains subject to the scrutiny of existing oversight bodies, including the Data Protection Commission. the Human Rights Commission, the Police Public Complaints Commission, and the Law Association of Zambia. These frameworks collectively ensure transparency, compliance, and the protection of citizens' rights while upholding the operational requirements of a specialized security institution. 6. Scope and overreach. The definition of premises currently borrows broadly from the Public Health Act, Cap 295, to prevent unintended regulatory overreach. A. Section 2 should be amended to define public premises narrowly as premises owned or controlled by the state or open to the public without restriction, excluding private residences, unless used for commercial or public purposes. And B. Section 35 should exempt low-risk private installations, e.g., residential, home CCTV, not facing public spaces, from full licensing, subject to a simplified notification procedure. The proposed refinements will make the bill more transparent and constitutionally compliant. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I extend sincere appreciation to the chairperson of the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs and all individuals, institutions that contributed to the development of the CCTV Public Protection Bill. I urge all honorable members of this august House to support the bill, for it has been refined in the interest of the issues that were raised by members of this House. Madam Speaker, thank you. I submit.
Thank you. Any further debate? The chairperson of the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Member for Kaoma Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in accordance with these terms of reference as provided for in Standing Order 207J of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, the committee was tasked to reconsider the closed-circuit television Public Protection Bill, National Assembly Bill number 1 of 2025, which was referred back to the committee after the Republican President, in the exercise of his powers, returned the bill to the House pursuant to Article 66, 1B of the Constitution of Zambia. Madam Speaker, from the outset, I want to state that most witnesses who appeared before the committee were in support of the need to address the issues raised in the message from the President, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. Madam, I'm confident that the members of the August House have read the committee's report. I will therefore only highlight a few issues that caught the committee's attention in addressing the concerns raised by the President. Madam, in addressing the President's concern regarding the issue of excessive bureaucracy, the committee observed that the licensing process proposed in the bill is lengthy and inconsistent with government's policy direction to reduce red tape. The committee, in supporting the President's concern, observed that the Executive Director and the National Public Security Command Center Committee will act sequentially if they participate in the entire licensing process. Such an arrangement is likely to create a dual layer of processing the licenses. The proposed process is not only cumbersome, but it will also expand the procedural timelines due to overlap between the National Public Security Command Center Committee's decision and the administrative handling by the Executive Director. In this regard, the committee recommends that the role of the National Public Security Command Center Committee should be limited to policy formulation and the strategic oversight functions of the center. The committee further recommends that the administrative functions should be undertaken by the Executive Director, who should handle the functions from the National Public Security Command Center Committee. With regard to the concern on transparency and abuse, the committee observes that the absence of clear approval mechanisms in the bill raises risks of politicization, corruption, and selective enforcement. The committee therefore recommends that an independent surveillance oversight body be established from among the Data Protection Commissioner's Office. The functions of the body will include ensuring compliance, monitoring, and reviewing complaints or appeals on licensing decisions. This will align the Closed Circuit Television Public Protection Bill number 1 of 2025 with the Data Protection Act number 3 of 2021. The committee further recommends that an independent oversight mechanism be created, which will have a multi-stakeholder board comprising of civil society organizations, Law Association of Zambia, and the data protection experts and other like-minded organizations. Madam Speaker, with regard to the concern on scope and overreach raised by the President in his message to the House, the committee observes that the term public premises has not been clearly defined. The committee therefore recommends that Clause 2 of the bill be amended to define public premises as premises owned or controlled by the state or open to the public without restrictions. Allow me to conclude, Madam Speaker, by stating that the committee supports the bill and therefore urges the House to take into consideration the recommendations of the committee stipulated in the report, which address the concerns raised by the President. Finally, Madam Speaker, permit me to express my sincere gratitude to you and the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and support rendered to the committee during the deliberations. The committee is also indebted to all the stakeholders who appeared before it for their cooperation in providing the necessary memoranda that formed the committee's report. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Of course, as I said, we still have a lot of work to do. So, 4 minutes, and I'll pick 2 members from the list that has been provided. Honorable members, just wait, I'm still giving guidance. So I'll give an opportunity to the Honorable Member for Lunte to debate 4 minutes, and followed by the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu 4 minutes. Then on my right, Honorable Member for Mongu 4 minutes. In that order.
Madam Speaker, this bill has come back to the House for the second time to be read at second reading. This is part of what the Minister of Home Affairs considers as governing the country well. Bringing one bill twice, what is the cost implication to the people of Zambia? Madam Speaker, what is unfortunate regarding this is that the President is the one who rejected the bill. This is not a private member's bill. This is a government bill. This bill passed through the cabinet which the President chairs. In that cabinet, you have him as a chairperson, you have the Vice President, you have all ministers, you have the Attorney General, and you have the Secretary to Cabinet as a secretary in that particular meeting. But yet they brought this bill here. And we told them this is a bad bill. Don't pass it. Madam Speaker, we stood here on the floor of the House. People who submitted to the committee said it's a bad bill. But this government, because of the arrogance of numbers, the UPND passed it. What has the president gone to say? No, I can't sign it. It's a bad bill. It is very unfortunate. And that is the poor governance, Madam Speaker. It is not good government. Even though the minister thinks this is good governing, I think that in view of managing the limited resources that the Zambian people have, this is extremely poor and it must come to an end. Madam Speaker, consider Section 29, where a member of this committee, of this governing committee they are trying to establish, can come to your house to come and search without notice, Madam Speaker, without a search warrant. It just dreams that in that particular entity, there is CCTV installation, let me go and search. And he pops up, comes to search. They come to find, and you know, some of our CCTVs point everywhere. And you know there's some people misbehave within our premises. This particular person will come and observe whatever private things that people do in their own homes. This is a bad bill, Madam Speaker. These bills like this should not be given a chance in a country where government is civil, in a country where government listens, in a country that can even ministers can stand and say, we are governing people well, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 1.5 billion will come from the United States of America. We are grateful, Honorable Minister.